Hey, it's James here from eBassGuitar. Now, it's been a bit of a crazy week here at eBassGuitar HQ. As you can probably hear, I'm completely full of man flu, which has slowed things down. But also, we've been putting the final touches to the brand new eBassGuitar HQ, which I'm currently in right now. So what that means in practical terms is we don't have a video for you this week on the channel. So I thought, what the heck, I wanted to give you something anyway. So I thought, why don't I give you a sneak peek behind the scenes of one of the eBassGuitar Accelerator programs. This is a 90-day program that we run several times a year where we dig deep into a specific subject. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the first lesson from module 3 of the Blues Bass Accelerator. And in this module, we dig deep into the world of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Tommy Shannon and how to play walking blues bass. So I'm going to leave you with that lesson in just a second. So just before I leave you with the Blues Bass Accelerator for this week, I want to show you the new eBassGuitar HQ filming studio. This is the only time you're going to see it with zero gear in it, because we're actually going to hopefully start filming new lessons starting next week in here, which I'm super excited about. So just before we hit the lesson content, I want you to know there's a completely free PDF that comes with this lesson. This is the PDF workbook which comes with the Blues Bass Accelerator, so you can see everything we're discussing in the lesson written out in standard notation and tab. There's a link in the description below where you can grab your copy. So guys, welcome to Module 3, Lesson 1. This whole module is all about understanding the 12/8 slow Texas blues. This is one of my all-time favorite blues feels. So if you love artists like Stevie Ray Vaughan and his incredible bass player Tommy Shannon, you're in for an absolute treat. So first of all, we're going to understand the chord sequence that we use in this particular 12-bar blues. We're going to understand how the turnarounds work, which we're going to apply to bars 11 and 12 of the form. This is legendary in blues bass playing. Then we're going to understand how the slow 12/8 feel works rhythmically. Then I'm going to show you how to start creating bass lines using a new scale, the major pentatonic and the major pentatonic forward position. Then we're going to dig into how to start creating some basic walking bass lines to link the chords together, because the walking bass feel is absolutely legendary in this particular style of music to link chords together. And then last of all, I'm going to introduce you to a concept called transcription. So let's get started. This module is all about the slow 12/8 Texas blues. This is one of my all-time favorite styles of music to play, and it's inspired by great artists such as Stevie Ray Vaughan and of course this incredible bass player Tommy Shannon. So we're going to be using a track called Austin Downfall as our performance track today, and this is a 12-bar blues in the key of G, and it's in the time signature of 12/8. So first of all, let's talk through the chord sequence first of all so we get that down. So these are all 7th chords that we're going to be using today. So we're going to start off with a chord of G7 for a bar, then quick 4 change up to C7, and then back again for 2 bars of G7. Then up to chord 4 for 2 bars of C7, then back down for 2 chords of G7. So all stuff you've seen before. Then we go up to the 5 chord here, D7, then down to the C7, the 4 chord. Now, what we're going to integrate here is a classic blues turnaround. And a blues turnaround typically goes over the last 2 bars, so bars 11 and 12 of the blues sequence. And it does what it says on the tin, it turns it back round and takes it to the beginning of the form. So the turnaround we're going to use here is what we call a 1-4-1-5 turnaround, and this is a classic turnaround. So this is 2 beats of G7 to 2 beats of C7, back to the G7 again, and then up to the D7 for 2 beats. So 2 beats on each chord. So first of all, get that under your hands to begin with so you know where all the notes fall on the instrument. So the next thing we need to do is understand how the 12/8 time signature works, and this is synonymous with the slow blues feel. So 12/8 essentially has 4 strong beats in the bar. So I'm going to write these out like so.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to divide each of those by 3. And what you'll see here is we have what's called 12 eighth notes in the bar. And how we count this out is 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And if you remember the shuffle lessons that we did earlier in this program, it's all about dividing this beat by 3. But the thing which makes the 12/8 feel quite different is each of these beats here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, are very, very prominent, and you can really hear them in the hi-hats and the cymbals of the drums. So that's what I want you to listen out to. And as bass players, we're always trying to lock in to each of the 3 subdivisions in the bar. And because this is a slow feel, it's really easy to hear each of those individual beats. Now, to create our bass lines in this module, we're going to use a scale called the major pentatonic scale. We've already discovered the minor pentatonic scale. This is the major version of it. And as the name suggests, it has 5 notes in it. And it's all based upon the major scale. And the major pentatonic uses the intervals, or notes from the scale rather, which are the root, the second, the third, the 5th, the 6th, and then the octave as well. But you can see the 5 notes. So let me show you how to play those on the bass now. There's a very distinctive shape for this, which is formed on the neck. So what I want you to do is put your second finger on the G, like so. So we're going to do this in the key of G major, because this is what the tune Austin Downfall, which is our performance track, is in. So the G major pentatonic, let's start off in fact by playing the G major scale, get that under our hands. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the root, the second, the third, the 5th, and the 6th, and then the octave. And you can see we have this very open hand shape. I sometimes call this the open box. So first of all, practice the major pentatonic, up and down like that. So that's it, first of all, in the key of C. Then all we need to do is shift that shape up 1 string. And we get the C for the 4 chord, like that. So that's the C major pentatonic. And then for the 5, we're going to shift that up to fret 5. So that's the D on the A string. So we're going to, like so. And that is our basic scale that we're going to use for the rest of this module. And it's an absolute classic for creating blues bass lines. Now, the first bass line we're going to look at here for level 1 is an absolute classic. It's the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 6th, like that. So when I want you to play this bass line, it's very straightforward this, but I want you to make sure you play all of the notes to the full duration. And when you're listening to the track, I really want you to lock in to the 8th notes which are going on the hi-hats of the drums here. Don't be fooled. Playing slowly with a lot of space is very difficult, because we have a tendency as bass players to rush. So what you might want to do is really lock into those subdivisions. And how I tend to feel this particular feel is I will put my foot here on the 4 strong beats of the bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will use my mouth or my throat in here or inside my chest to feel the subdivision. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 2. You can hear me, I'm almost mimicking the sound of the hi-hat. So we get this feel. And all the time I'm trying to play the notes to the full duration and hold it back. So there's one more thing I need to cover before we hit the performance track, and that is a simple bass line to play over the turnaround. The reality is there are hundreds upon hundreds you could choose, but this is a great one to get you going. So over the G chord, what I want you to play is a G, and then a B on beat 2, and that will lead us into the C on beat 3, and then on beat 4, I want you to play a C sharp, and then on beat 1 of the next bar, the 12th bar, I want you to go back to the G for 2 beats, and then to the D for 2 beats again. So you end up with this bass line. 1, dun, 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 bump, dun. So for level 1, let's hear what this bass line with the turnaround sounds like in context over the track.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So that's the end of level 1. I'll see you in level 2 in the next video. So for level 2, what I want to do is show you a very, very common blues bass line and a little addition to what we covered in level 1. So this is the bass line. So what we're doing is we're playing the root, the third and the fifth on beats 1, 2 and 3 as we did before. 1, 2, 3. And then on the fourth beat of the bar, and this is incredibly common, so we fill out all 3 notes of the final beat there. This is often called playing the triplet. So when we divide notes into 3, this is called triplet. So triplet, triplet. So that's the technical term for it. So the notes in the triplet here at the end are an E, a D, and a B like this. So just play those 3 notes. Like so, try and keep your hand nice and wide too, like that, so you can catch all of the notes in the same position without shifting your hand too much. So let's play the whole of those 4 beats. Like so. So that is our riff. We shift it up into C. And then up to D. And then we're going to leave the turnaround exactly the same. So this is what it sounds like in context.
1, 2, 3, 4. So for level 3, what I'm going to do is introduce a super cool device that you can use all of the time when you're playing slow blues. And you'll hear Tommy Shannon using it extensively too. So let me play it so you can hear what it sounds like first of all. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing 2 notes in each respective beat. So I'm playing the first and the third of each triplet, and this is just the same as the shuffle that we explored earlier in this program. So this is an alteration that you can make and will add a bit more energy and drive to your slow bass line. So for this bass line, we're going to go up the triad, which is the root, the third and the fifth, as before, and then the last 3 notes we're going to fill out the triplet. So we're going to play the E, D, and then octave like that. So And then you can take that through all of the respective chords in the blues sequence. So let's hear what this concept sounds like in context.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So as you can hear, that's a great sound. So just a couple of things I want to point out is there's a little bit of daylight between each of those notes. So bum. And I'm achieving that by lifting my hand up with the left hand. So there's a little rest on the second beat of each triplet. So that's the first thing I just want you to clock is note length. And then the second thing I want you to check out is we can also take this idea and put it across the turnaround. So we end up with this. So there's loads to explore with the slow blues feel. Just don't forget, really lock into those triplets and keep holding it back so rhythmically it doesn't rush or go forward. And this will add that really great kind of heavy, solid sound to our bass lines. Anyway, I'll see you in the next lesson.
So guys, that's the end of today's lesson. Hope it gave you an insight into what taking an eBassGuitar Accelerator is like. We've got more planned for 2023. If you want more information about what we do over at eBassGuitar.com, make sure you jump over and check out our website, which is eBassGuitar.com, and you'll find more information there. We'll be back to normal with another lesson next week. Catch you very soon.